So welcome everybody. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're calling from today. My name is John Johnson. I am the Professional Programs Manager for the Project Management Center for Excellence at the University of Maryland, College Park. And today we're going to be talking about the Project Management Course and Career Guide with the goal of helping you understand both your careers and what kind of courses we offer at the University of Maryland if you're interested in project management. With me today, we have a wonderful team to help kind of guide you through these options and give you some insights. We have Kathy Frankel, who is our marketing manager. She helps to build community. She runs the PM Symposium that's this year from the April 20th to the 21st, and it is a fantastic event. We also have Caitlin Gover, who is our recruitment and admissions lead, and she will be someone that you've probably been talking to already. But if you are new to us and you haven't yet applied, she'll be helping with you on your journey. Neil Schulman is adjunct faculty with the University of Maryland and teaches many courses for us, focusing a lot on construction management. He's going to be talking about that a little bit later. And then Stephanie Elcock is our advisor for you to help you if you decide to join the MAGE program and pursue a degree with us. So, welcome to this webinar on careers and course guides. And we like to say it's at the beginning of all of our presentations, isn't this a great day to study project management? I think it is. What you're seeing here is actually our favorite picture, one of the original pictures of the PM Symposium, which is the event I talked about earlier that Kathy Frankel helps put together, where we bring in project managers from around the region and many from around the world to share knowledge and experiences. It's a wonderful opportunity for networking, and it's part of the way in which we are connected and lead in the project management industry here. So to get started, I want to offer you just a little bit of perspective and some opportunities to learn about what exactly is project management, because a lot of people maybe have a sense of what a project is. Maybe they've heard about management and they have a general understanding of it. We're going to go through and just cover a couple of key topics to orient you to project management, and then we're going to get into career and course opportunities. So first, project management is different from general management. General management is what we think of whenever someone's running a department or maybe a part of an operations in a business. So they could be running anywhere from a manufacturing floor to a service-oriented business like a Starbucks. The type of work activity in general management is routine, but in project management, we are creating changes in the business. We are creating new products for people to use. And as a result, all the activities that we do when we do that, they're completely unique. They've never been done before. As a result, when it comes to how we manage in project management, it's really important that we have the ability to adapt as we develop opportunities and we develop these products and services and grow them. In general management, they have a different approach where they essentially manage by exception. They know what is the norm, and then anything outside the bounds is then treated as a point of investigation. In project management, you are constantly learning and you have to adapt to change. As a result, planning is critical. You have to be a master planner if you want to be able to be effective in project management. It's important in general management, but a lot of it is the same as last year, which gets into budgeting, where you essentially take the way you've done it, or you take what you have from last year and you change it for just a little bit for this year. That's what you do in general management. In project management, again, you've never done this before. We have to figure out and build up bottom up. What is it going to cost to do this new activity, series of activities to produce a new product, to change our services, to deliver unique new value? And oftentimes projects can go for multiple years and they'll span over multiple budgeting periods, which means you have to navigate the systems that exist usually to serve general management. So we need to then figure out what are the activities we're going to do, how are we going to determine them to achieve our goals. Oftentimes they're already fixed and just in continuous improvement mode in general management. And one of the fun parts about being a project manager is you get to work across departments. You get to work across design and marketing and and development and manufacturing. You get to work, if you're in construction, you get to work across all the different trades. You get to integrate all their different concerns. And so that's a joy, but also a challenge for a project manager, whereas general management is usually within an organizational unit. And then finally, when you work across units, you don't have the power and authority to tell people what to do. You have to influence them. You have to help them figure out the opportunities and how it aligns with their incentives. Whereas in general management, it's usually a hierarchy. So some of you have probably seen this before. We call this the iron triangle or the triple cost constraint or the three goals. But when it comes to any activity or any process that is known, there is a trade-off in terms of how much time it will take, what's the work that we're going to do, and how much will it cost. So if you change one, for example, if I want to reduce the cost it's going to take to do something, that usually is going to either reduce the scope of what we're doing, or it's going to increase the time. So anytime that you put pressure on one of these sides, you end up changing the other, at least one of the others. You can't change them without influencing them. And again, this is what we understand in terms of what's known technology. New technology can change this. But there are other factors that come to play on activities and processes, which include resources, the quality of what we're doing. Are we satisfying or exceeding the expectations of our customers? And then the risks and opportunities. And the way in which we can influence how those other constraints play on our activities is by being very good at project management. Project management really focuses on those influences. And oftentimes, while this may be known in terms of the average, there's enormous amounts of uncertainty in terms of how long it's actually going to take to do something, how much it's actually going to cost, and it can't be eliminated. So these aren't fixed and determined. We have to learn how to leverage uncertainty, how to leverage variability. And so new techniques are needed to do that. So in terms of how project management has evolved, and it's really been codified since the 1960s and the Apollo missions going to the moon, it started off actually almost becoming the project scheduling profession. And there, you all probably heard of Project Management Institute. They were almost the Project Scheduling Institute, because at the very beginning, it was just about scheduling work to move between departments. And that was the main focus. And that was a hard enough job. But we quickly found that working across departments oftentimes would lead to conflicts and the need to understand roles and responsibilities. So teamwork became a big factor in the 1970s. So we started getting better at working and building complex systems. And therefore focusing on how can we lead effectively roles and responsibilities and facilitation. Then in the 1980s, as we started to see the explosion of IT, we realized that uncertainty really got out of control, especially on totally novel new technology in terms of computer systems, and 90+% of IT projects were failing. And so a big focus then became on risk management, and also learning how to apply new techniques that were being discovered across the world in terms of lean. And as we became more globalized, it was all about competing simultaneously and being able to do more with less. In the 2000s, we then codified a lot of what we learned in the 80s and 90s in the 2001 Agile Manifesto. And we learned that we need to become even better at adapting and focusing on how we can ensure the delivery of benefits. And that became the focus. And that helped evolve to where we kind of are today, which is we're focused on empowered teams that can go fast and are value-driven, that are working across different functions and are actually integrated teams. And this requires using lean agile techniques, which are used in every industry. And as a result, that's where we are today. And we are teaching how to do this to really bring together the best approaches through all of the different evolutions of project management. So some of you may have heard of the Agile Manifesto. It is really important, not just in software, it's important everywhere, but it helps us to understand how our systems that we run as project managers to deliver value, they need to constantly evolve and appreciate that the complexities and the priorities. So Agile Manifesto was actually developed in 2001 by a number of software project managers coming together, realizing that the way in which work project management was being done wasn't working for really highly uncertain projects. And they realized that they needed to emphasize a new way that wasn't all about processes and documentation. So they wanted to emphasize what actually works. And this is true, like I said, across industries. So they said first, individuals and interactions, that's more important than having great processes and tools. And the reason why is because the people on your team have the knowledge about the work, and their interactions, their ability to communicate is the #1 predictor of project success, because we're constantly learning and we need to emphasize that exchange of information. Processes and tools are still very important for scaling, but on a team, it's all about the people. Second, working software over comprehensive documentation. There are plenty of stories of projects that never got off the desk of the requirements designer, that never produced a single pilot or prototype, that were stuck for 10 years or longer just doing documentation. And so to move rapidly and learn, we want to build a product, build a prototype, get something in the hands of people. In the construction world, it's moved quickly in order to get that design that usually nowadays a 3D BIM model, to get feedback, to learn, to say, is this what we want? Is this what we need? What are the issues? And go to the site, figure out what's there. So we want to be active and we want to learn as we go. While comprehensive documentation is important, and again, for scaling and for capturing, it actually is better to first go with building the product. And that's what we're here to do. Third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Your customer is someone that you want to work with for life. And you'll have many customers for a very long time in project management. We want to focus on delivering value for them, not on winning a contract and winning on the details of a contract. Contracts are good for managing risk. Customer collaboration is good for building business. And then lastly, responding to change over following a plan. And that's because we're constantly learning, even though plans are very helpful for coordinating work. So then there are a couple of approaches that we teach. All of them are useful at different times, some more than others, as I've been talking about. First, we have traditional, which is also called predictive, where you first develop requirements, then you turn those requirements into design specifications. You then move to build and implement. You then test and verify that, and then you go into operations and maintenance. The second approach is the agile approach, where you have someone who is a product owner who is working with stakeholders to figure out what to build. And then in sprints, which are time boxes, will go for 2 weeks to a month, development teams will get together and pick a batch of work to work on, and then they will work on just that, not being distracted or interrupted. And at the end, they'll get feedback from the customer and figure out how to improve as a team. And they do that repeatedly, every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, and they can adapt as they go. Lean is all about pulling work through a system and how we can minimize work in process and minimize conflicts and identify issues as soon as they occur. This is very popular actually in construction these days. And the idea is that you move work from left to right through stages. And as you do so, you can see if you have any issues and rapidly address and just deal with the next thing that you need to, as opposed to working in big batches. And then there's hybrid. And this is where most of us fall, where we essentially need a little bit of everything I just talked about here. And so there are plenty of frameworks that kind of integrate these ideas together. Okay, so now we're going to play a little game. I want to, we're going to play a game. I'm going to run a quick poll as we do this. So here's the question. And this is just to help you think a little bit. If we were running a 3-digit lottery and you could pick 2 tickets, which ticket would you take? So in option A, you can buy a ticket for $3. And if you guess a number then from 000 to 999, so 1 in 1,000 chance. And if you get it right, it will pay off $3,000. Okay. But option B has a different game. In option B, you have to pay $1, and after you've guessed your 3 numbers, the first digit will be revealed to you, and you can decide to continue or quit. Then, if you decide to continue, you pay $2.50 for the second digit, and you can then have that revealed for you, and you can then decide to continue playing or quit. And then to see the last digit, you got to pay $25, which is a pretty hefty sum. But if you get all 3 digits right, you get $3,000. So one is cost of $3 for 3,000. The other one is $28.50 for 3,000. So I'm going to go ahead and let you think about that for a quick sec. And I'm going to ask, which would you choose? The way I'm going to do that, actually, let's go with this. Let's put it in the chat. Which would you choose, A or B? Option B. We got one for B. Go ahead. Hey, it's got to be a trick question. All right. Okay, we have one brave soul saying A. Hello, Theo. All right. So you might have guessed that that this is a trick question. I'm curious about if anyone wants to type into the chat really quick. What is their reason for picking B? Well, everyone's picking B. Why B? I mean, we made it really complicated. You can play game A almost 9 times. Lower cost of entry. It's a good thought. Yep, definitely true. Others?
We are actually eliminating the risk of losing the $3.
You're eliminating the risk of losing the $3. Okay.
I can pick $1 for that, so I'll be saving $2.
Hey, well done. Okay, so let's move forward, and we'll take a look at exactly why option B is the correct answer. So with option A, the expected payout is 0 because you have a 1 in 1,000 chance. You pay $3, you get 3,000 if you get it right. So expected value is 0. But in option B, just as my friend just said here, we have the average price is actually only $1.50. That's because you will definitely pay $1, but there's only a 1 in 10 chance you get the first digit right. So you're only 10% likely to pay $2.50, and there's only 1 in 100 chance that you're going to get the first 2 digits right. So there's only a 1 in 100 chance you're going to pay $25, which means that the expected value is $1.50. And if we could play this game, we should all go do that and not be project managers. But it is about saving on the expected cost, and it's through options. This is the concept. And the idea is you have this opportunity to save by getting information and paying a little bit to get that information, which, by the way, we are constantly doing in project management. We are constantly fast tracking, taking a little bit of risk, paying down for extra activities to learn about something that we don't know yet. And it buys down our commitment to going in a bad direction. And so this is actually what we call an asymmetrical payoff curve, where even if you have an evenly distributed likelihood of outcome, if you can fix the cost of losses, but have unfixed opportunities to take advantage of your wins, then you can get an asymmetrical payoff curve. And this is where uncertainty helps you. And we do that in lots of different ways. But one of the most important ways, and the reason why this is through the engineering school, is in terms of how we build something. So traditional engineering has lots of tight coupling, and it means that your design fixes very early. As a result, everything relies on everything else, and small changes have big costs. And effectively, you're making one bet because you want to lower costs up front. In lean engineering, usually what we do is we build a feature that has services underneath, and we will then evolve those services as we add new features. And that's called an evolutionary design, and it is where we build just enough feature by feature. And it allows us to release quickly, but retrofitting can be very costly, and eventually we won't need to do that. And in agile design, we literally decouple as much as possible. We try to create essentially features that have their own services, and we're willing to pay a little bit more upfront to have what we call a decoupled design. But the fantastic thing about this is that it gives us the option not just to release one feature at a time, but to change any of these features as the situation, the needs change. And so this is a lot of what we learn about in cloud native designs. It's what we learn about when we have redundant systems within our cars that operate different parts of them. We have redundant systems within our buildings to make sure that if one switch fails, other switches will kick in. And there are lots of other ways in which we have this in terms of services, having multiple bathrooms on the floors of a building, or other ways. I mean, we basically end up doing a lot of lean and agile engineering because we don't want to be overly fixed and have no options. So this too is project management and the understanding of the systems engineering concept. But here's the other good thing, is that if you work incrementally and learn as you go using, for example, a sprint design, you can plan what you're going to do it, and then check to see how well it's been done in order to improve what you plan and do. We call this the PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, act. It's a little bit different from what Edward Deming talked about with plan, do, study, act, that has the same concept. And this is how we can continuously improve. So let's talk about the careers in project management and what kind of work you might be doing as a project manager, and how might you be delivering. And you might be wondering even, well, that sounds great, lots of new approaches, understanding new engineering, but isn't everything just traditional and waterfall? Is that how I want to go about? Do I really want to learn all these advanced techniques? And the answer is you do, because if you look across the different industries, we have in almost every industry, from construction to energy to financial services to government to healthcare to IT and manufacturing and telecom, they all need a mix of approaches, and they use a mix of approaches. And even when they say, oh yeah, we're 69% waterfall, that's not actually the case. The reality is that if you dive a little bit deeper into even what the industry self-reports, the reality is that there are many different integrated methods of delivery that are being used. And while the most linear, which is where you design something, then you put it, you bid somebody to come design it, then you bid someone to come build it, and then it transfers over to the owner who's going to then operate it. That's called design, bid, build. That is only 30% of the industry. Other approaches like construction management at risk, where you have the construction manager involved early, design build, where you have one integrated team that are both designers and builders solving problems and working on performance requirements and coming up novel ways to build something. And then these other integrated approaches, they all actually create the predominant approaches in the market when it comes to organizing and delivering. So then what does this mean for you in terms of career paths? What could a typical career path look like? Well, a typical career path in project management usually starts as either an analyst or a project coordinator or engineer. And it's at this first stage where you're an individual contributor, where you may, after a year, 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years, grow into becoming a senior analyst. And as you do so, you're then going to be moving from individual contributor to becoming a team leader. And so the team leader group is this next group where you could become a scrum master, a project manager, or an associate product manager. And you then have a chance to decide, do you want to grow in terms of becoming a technical specialist? Do you want to grow in terms of becoming a person who focuses on execution and delivery? Or do you want to grow and become someone who focuses on discovery and figuring out new products to build and working directly with customers? These, like I said, this group then is your team and or technology leaders. And as you grow, you can decide in the technical specialist region to become a risk manager or a project scheduler. These are very cool positions. You are the smartest person in the room. You are figuring out what are the big risks and opportunities on major projects worth 20 million minimum up to 100 million, maybe even portfolios worth 500 million. I did that for a little while, even up to $1 billion or more dollars. Or you may be a project scheduler where you're helping to work across lots of different domains and different big companies and bringing them all together and making sure they can actually get it done. So technical specialists have a really fun role to play on big projects. You could grow and become a senior project manager where you lead teams of teams in delivering some new product or service or opportunity. Or you could become a product manager where you literally own the product and how it serves customers. And you would then be able to really say that this is your product, your vision, and you influence how that's going to grow on the team. And all of these roles are very influential in terms of the work that gets done. You would then have the opportunity to grow and to become an organizational leader, where you could either become a program manager or a senior product manager, and then finally on to becoming directors. And directors usually own full lines of business. So this is, these salaries that you see here in red are national averages. So add 15 to 20%-ish in this area these days. But, and of course, you know, your mileage may vary, but this helps to kind of map out what you can expect in your careers. And I'll say that all three of these paths, which I've had the joy of doing a little bit, offer their own challenges and fun. So I'm now going to pass it over to Neil Schulman, who's going to talk a little bit about the construction pathways.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let me just say a few words about the last slide on career paths. That was a busy chart, and the reason it's busy is because your career path is going to be busy, and it will include lots of twists and turns. That's how my career was as a practitioner in the industry and also as an adjunct professor. Chart right there in this slide is really what you're going to go through, the twists and turns. You may be in a career now, but things are going to happen. And one of the things that we do here at the University of Maryland in the Project Management Center of Excellence in our career program and our course program is really to train you and give you the tools that you need to use to give you a competitive advantage over the other folks in your organization. And that's really what we want to do. And one of the opportunities we give you, which was my career path, was construction management. And after I got my engineering degree, I became a naval officer. And that, believe it or not, got me into construction management and project management. Who would have thought the Navy would have done that to me? So be prepared. And there are different opportunities for those of you that would graduate from high school. You can get into training in the trades. The construction industry desperately needs well-trained folks. But the other avenue is going to a community college, getting an associate's degree, and then eventually a bachelor's degree, like most of you are getting. And that gives you the opportunity on the lower part of this chart to become a project engineer, an assistant project manager, and eventually work up to be a project manager, which is a very key role. I remember one time in my career managing a very big project in the District of Columbia in Washington. One of my project engineers came to me and she said, I desperately want to become a project manager. It was real important to her. And she went through the trials and tribulations and eventually became a project manager. And today is a senior vice president of a multi-billion-dollar company. So congratulations to her. So that will eventually give you the opportunity to become a lead project manager. And there are all kinds of titles. Don't get too mixed up with titles. There are also titles, field operations manager, project executive, lots of different titles. But the main thing we want to do for you in this master's degree program is expose you to lots of opportunities. You may want to keep it general, You may want to go down the career path that I went through, construction management, and I teach 3 courses, and I'll talk about that in a little while. But there's lots of opportunities. We give you 5 courses in the core program to give you a broad background. And then you have 5 elective courses to let you focus a little bit more and focus on either construction or IT or other aspects. And we're here to help. We're here to get you a great diversified education. You'll work with a lot of adjuncts like myself who come from the industry. We will give you opportunities, both internships and also help you get a job. I remember one student I had in my cost engineering and control class who learned all about the life cycle of a project. She had 0 experience in the field and applied for a job with a construction company, and she got the job. And she got the job because she knew the process, a lot of which you just saw for the last 20 or 30 minutes on these slides. Understanding the process. She knew what it took to build a building, and she was able to describe that during her interview and got the job with 0 experience. And today is a senior project manager in a very large construction company in Northern Virginia. So we're going to give you the tools. We're going to give you the opportunity, and we're going to give you internships and jobs and help you get from A to Z, and maybe not exactly to Z, but we're going to get you close. So that's our goal, to give you a well-trained background in whatever field you want to focus on.
Thank you so much, Neil. And so the ways, the options that we offer through our center that help you get there and that give you that exposure and help you get from A to Z are the ones that you see before you. Here on the left, we have undergraduate minors that are offered to our undergraduates in our bachelor's programs. But at in the graduate level, and for all of you, we offer the Master's of Engineering in Project Management, as well as a graduate certificate in project management, which are both available on campus and online. We also offer, for those that want to go into the direction now or later in product management with a degree there, and we have a Master's of Science and a PhD program as well, which are very popular, especially the PhD. But we don't stop helping you grow at that point in your career, and we will engage with you thoroughly through your academic years, but we also want to stay engaged with your professional development. So we actually offer right now over 30 online, massive open online courses through edX, which is our partner to deliver those. And so lots of opportunities to learn there for free or for a small fee to certify. We also offer exec ed and workshops in short courses. And then a big part of what we do to make sure that you have opportunities and understand your connections to industry is we build community. And that's especially something that Kathy Frankel leads. And we have our annual symposium, which this year is trending well above 700, maybe even approaching 1,000 this year in terms of attendees, mostly local, regional, and it's hybrid. We have a partnership with PMI chapters in the area. The biggest PMI chapters in the world are here. In fact, we have 10,000 members of the Project Management Institute in DC who are very active, who help to build and run both things in the government as well as near government and other industries near DC. And then we do also a PM day of service, and oftentimes working with those in the chapters and near those chapters. And this connects us with the community, and we support them because we also are continuing to support project management generally. So who are we? We actually are a fairly large faculty. In total, we have over 20 members of our faculty. 2 are National Academy of Engineering members. One, in addition to that, is the National Academy of Engineer for a member for the Russian National Academy. We have 3 tenure track, 3 research, and 14 adjuncts. We have graduated well over 50 PhDs. Many are teaching throughout the world. So we continue to lead in building the culture of project management in academia. And we have a leadership team, which is myself, the program manager, and marketing manager, Kathy. And up here, you have your fantastic team from Mage, who you are getting a chance to engage with today, as well as will do so throughout your time. And as you see here, 11 of the faculty have actually built massive open online courses for you to go test, and you can get a chance to see them, learn from them. Pretty amazing. So the courses that we offer in the graduate program are provided here with 2 general pathways. We have a construction pathway and we have an engineering project management pathway. Construction for those who really want to focus on construction management, engineering for those who want to be more general and maybe work in multiple industries, but don't want to focus yet on construction, not that you couldn't. Our core is based off of what is essential from the bodies of knowledge about project management and from all of our experiences as project managers. You learn about risk management, you learn about cost accounting and finance, how to manage budgets, how to work within budgeting systems, how to invoice, collect, because that's an important part of being a project manager is you got to help your organization get paid too. We teach you the fundamentals about a lot of what you've seen here today, and we go fairly deep on all the areas of project management. In total, there are 40 plus processes that you're going to learn to master across many different knowledge areas. We teach you about legal aspects of engineering, and this is really important because you need to understand contracts and contractual organizations. You need to understand IP. You need to understand what it means to build an engineering product and the liabilities that come with that. So it's important, and also how to handle disputes. So we get into all those aspects because you are directly interfacing with the customer, and a lot of what you do creates legal documents. And then lastly, how to lead project teams. And that will be a transformative course for you when you take it. It is something that will change how you think about yourself, but also how you think about your interactions with others. And team leadership is the #1 skill needed by a good project manager. If you decide to focus on engineering project management, well, we have courses in procurement that are extremely useful for understanding the initiation stages, critical to great success. We also teach data analytics that will help you to understand the data of your products as well as your teams, how to evolve as a project leader, how to do Agile well. I teach that course, and I'm happy to always talk more about it, as you can tell. And then great communications management. So those are really important. And when it comes to construction management, we have a number of courses, and I want to go ahead and let Neil talk a little bit about those.
Okay, should I use this slide, John?
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks. Let me talk to you a little bit about the construction project management program and the courses that I teach. I teach 3 courses. In the fall, I teach cost engineering control. That's the one at the bottom, ENCE 666. And in this course, I take all the students through the life cycle of a project that might last 2 years. And we go through the cycle in 4 months in class. We go through the process of getting the work, estimating the work, bidding the work, getting the project, scheduling the project, and going through the trials and tribulations of finishing the project. So it's a real course that gets through the get work, do work, and keep score, if you will, through the life cycle. And it's interesting, many of the students have never seen construction documents, plans, or specs. I'll expose the students to that. And we spend about a month with exposure of what the documents look like. estimating the job. Many of the students don't have a clue about estimating, but I have never had a student in 24 years that couldn't get through on a team. All my courses are team-based, which is what project management is all about, what you've been listening to for 35 or 40 minutes. Project management is team management. And then after estimating and scheduling the job, going through all the change management issues. So that's what that course is about. And then ENCE 625, right above that, project administration, I teach in the summer. And that's the big picture, flying at 30,000 feet. What is construction project administration and construction project management all about? The big, big picture. So that exposes you to all the different aspects of construction management and the project delivery methods, the pros and cons, and get you through that. And then finally, in the spring, we'll jump up to the top there, ENCE 604, Sustainability Fundamentals for Project Managers. Back in the late 90s, sustainability started becoming a big aspect of not just construction management, but of industry, of everything. We have climate issues, we have all kinds of issues. And the United States and the world realized that we need to do something about sustainability. So I focus on sustainability primarily in the construction industry, in the built environment. Certainly in the late 90s, LEED became a very popular certification method that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. We talk about LEED, and we also talk about how projects can be built with sustainability in mind, even if you don't have a LEED project. So we go a long way with the environment. Many of the students in the class are very interested in focusing on sustainability. Many want to get into sustainability and focus on that within the construction project management field. It's a great, great opportunity to really know what's going on. We see a lot of industry today going into sustainability for real. And I just read a blurb about an hour before this program started this morning that in 2022, for the first time ever, the energy in the United States was supplied by renewable energy sources more than coal for the first time ever. I thought that little blurb that I read this morning was really telling that the industry is finally shifted from a major fossil fuel environmental source in coal to renewable energy sources. And there are many, wind for one, solar for another, and there are many others that we touch on in the course. So that's an opportunity if you want to get into project management, get exposed to it. It doesn't mean you have to stay in that field. But the one thing that I give all the students are tools to put in their toolkit and go from there. And one of the things that we really have a nice advantage at the University of Maryland in our program here, and there are lots of schools and universities to consider graduate degrees, but the one thing that we have here is we have staff and faculty and adjunct professors who have lots of industry exposure and experience. So we can really give you a broad background way above what's in the book and give you the real stories and the real scenarios, what goes on in the real world. So that's a quick summary of the construction project management path.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Neil. And for those of you who would be interested in getting started right now to learn a little more, Neil is offering a construction management certificate on edX, and it is phenomenal. It gets 5-star ratings from everyone who takes it, and it has 4 courses. The 4th course is coming out soon, but it takes about 10 to 12 hours per course. You can get started now for free on edX. I just want to go ahead and quickly mention that and move towards the end here so we can get to your questions, because as you can tell, Neil is a fantastic instructor. He is a leader in terms of designing both on-campus and online curriculum. And the results are in that these are some phenomenal courses for you to get started if you want to learn more right now, and get a sense of the kind of education we offer if you're still deciding whether or not to come to Maryland. In addition to that, we have many other offerings that we offer as well in massive open online courses. We have courses in Agile, system development, product management, program management, visioning. As I said, we have 30 courses that have already gone live, and we continue to put out more all the time. And you can just audit these for free and get a lot of great education. But my offer to you is get a chance to dive into some of these and get a sense of the kind of education that we offer if you're still considering, and know that these resources will be available to you so that you can learn and certify as a graduate student here at the University of Maryland, and enhance your profile with other aspects that you might be interested in. And should you join us, we have a number of opportunities in terms of the Next Gen PM Club, which is our on-campus student organization. I'm going to let Kathy briefly talk about this.
Hi, everybody. We have a new student club. We had one before COVID, and then we lost all of our leaders. So now we're reinstituting the club. But basically, it's a club of students that are interested in project management. It's a great opportunity to network with some local current project management professionals. We have partnerships with there's 5 PMI local chapters, and we have relationships, very good relationships with 3 of them. And so we just had an event last week where we brought in a bunch of project management professionals. They gave some presentations, they networked with the students. So we're planning to continue that from here forward. As a member of the club, you get a free student membership to PMI. So that's a $32 item, and it's actually really important for you to become a member of Project Management Institute. So that's part of the club. Networking is huge. That's why we had that event last week. We want you to network with current professionals. You can learn about job opportunities. You can learn about what they do. We're going to have some mentoring opportunities as well. The current leadership of the club wanted to do a case study challenge. So we're going to be planning for that in the fall, and then we'll offer it in the spring, and we'll probably invite other universities to participate as well. And then we have our upcoming 2-day project management symposium, where we have professionals. We have over 50 sessions over 2 days, right on campus. People can participate either in person or online. I encourage you to participate in person because it's a great networking opportunity. There's 61 different speakers from a variety of different types of project management. So it could be healthcare, but anyways, it's on topics like people and projects, Agile, federal programs, leadership. You can check out the website. I can put it in the chat when we're finished. But we highly encourage you to attend. The students get to attend. Some of them are going to be assisting. Some of them are just going to be attending, but they get to attend for free. So if you have any questions about that, you can always email me. Oh, website. So we have a very thorough and website at pm.umd.edu. Basically, all the information that we've told you can be found there, and a lot more. We have articles on all sorts of different types of topics. Anyway, so we highly encourage you to look there. We also have testimonials from previous students. So anyways, if there's something there that you can't find, just let us know and we'll be happy to answer the questions.
Excellent. So with that, we'll turn it over to questions. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat or raise your hand, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have about careers and in the courses that we offer. Yusuf, you can definitely have the presentation as PDF form. We will send that out to you. Happy to do that. Kathy's put the symposium link in the chat, so you can go check that out if you'd like to while we're chatting here. So great. Go ahead, Kaushik.
Hi guys. Thank you for the information. So I'm actually enrolled into the Master of Engineering in Software Engineering program. So,
Welcome.
so if I get a PM role, so will I be able to do the internship or a full time in PM position? Given my background is in software engineering, and I'm from India, so would that affect my OPT and CPT?
Well, for OPT and CPT questions, I'm going to pass that. I can give you some of my advice, but really you would be talking to our team here at Mage. Stephanie?
I can jump in. So your OPT and CPT do have to be in a related field. When it comes to pursuing, if you were to get a position, you would always have to check with ISSS, and they, based off of the basis of the position, the description, what your role would be, they would determine whether or not it meets your visa requirements and if it is sufficient for OPT and CPT. So any opportunities that you do get, you always want to make sure you're checking with ISSS so that they can confirm the relevance and to make sure that you're in line with your visa requirements.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And that's based off of the
excuse-
degree that you're seeking, correct? So even though he's a software engineer, he's seeking a degree as a project manager. So if you wanted to take like a project assistantship over the summer, that would typically be the kind of thing we would expect to be in alignment with his F1 and his ability to do CPT and OPT, right, Stephanie?
In terms of, yes, you could do it, but I always say the position has to be verified by ISSS. In terms of if you're a software engineering student, you want to make sure that but you have a project management position, they would be the ones to confirm whether that it's still in the same arena and close enough. If there's overlap with, like, you're still doing software and there's still a component of project management, again, you just want to check because your main program is software. It's not project management.
Oh, right. So
Excuse me, can I?
Well, yeah. So it has to be in alignment with your degree. So Arun, you want to jump in here?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is Arun here, and I'm from India. So I've done my undergrad in mechanical engineering, and I applied for master's course in project management. And if I complete my master's program and then as a fresher, how are my opportunities gonna be? Because I heard that, project management, there are a lot of opportunities for people who are experienced, but not for freshers kind of thing. So as a fresher coming just fresh out of the college, so how are my opportunities gonna be without any prior work experience?
Right. Well, it depends on what industry you want to go work in, but as a project management master's degree holder, you're going to have a lot of opportunities. I don't know if you were on the call when Neil was talking about his student that became a project manager, which is a little bit more rare to do so without experience in that role. But normally, I'll just share this because we had 2 slides on this. One is that if you don't have experience, you normally start in the individual contributor role, somewhere like a project coordinator or in construction management and project engineer, or you may be doing an analyst role or maybe an assistant project manager role. And then you would grow and become more senior in that role. And then you would eventually qualify for becoming a project manager or some kind of equivalent, like a scrum master or an associate product manager. And this level normally is 3 to 5 years experience, maybe 2 with a master's degree. This is usually the area of 1 to 2, but can go much higher in terms of years of experience. And you can then decide if you want to focus in each area. So similarly, if you start off without a background or experience in construction management, normally when you enter the field, you'll be entering as a project engineer. Neil, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, titles are sometimes either misleading or not exact, but yeah, that's where you would generally start out at as a project engineer. It could be a field engineer, and it could even be as an assistant superintendent. A lot of folks that have graduated our program. In fact, I was talking to one person last week, she graduated from our program, and her first job was not as a project engineer, but it was as an assistant superintendent. She is an assistant field superintendent. The superintendents obviously work in the field, and they are becoming administratively a lot more expert in project management to get a well-rounded background in project management in the field. So that's another opportunity, working in the field as an assistant superintendent.
What the master's degree gives you is two elements. One is you have your degree, so you have the knowledge, and you now need to build up the experience and skills in terms of practicing. But it will accelerate you much more quickly than if you were to enter with a bachelor's degree normally. And in some cases, it will qualify you for positions earlier, depending upon the position requirements within the organization as a result. So if you are entering with no experience and a master's degree, you have a leg up, a competitive advantage as a result. Other people, if you would like to ask a question verbally, feel free to go ahead and raise your hand. And we have probably time for one or two more. Happy to go just a little bit over here for you. So any other questions?
It's Arun again. Can I? Okay, yeah, I will
Hold on, Arun.
response.
Arun, hold on one second. I want to let other people ask a question.
Yeah,
Anyone else?
cool. No worries. Yeah.
Yep. Just if anybody else has a question.
It looked like Matt may have, I don't know, did you have a question, Matt? Egerton?
Egerton, go ahead. Go ahead, Egerton. You're on mute right now.
Sorry about that. Thank you all for the presentation. It was wonderful. My own question is about somebody who has, because I have like 20 years experience in the industry, working in the field and the rest of it, and having a master's degree in project management, which is made for civil engineering. So how can this degree enhance my, what can I say, placement in the industry as an engineer?
You're not alone. There are many. We have a very wide range of students in our program. People with 5 years, 10 years, 15 years experience. Some with who are doing the program even later. And the answer would be that it's going to help you in two ways. One is that it's going to help you for those positions which require a master's degree, and there are some that do, depending upon policies, either in the government or in terms of the company, they sometimes have those requirements, and so that qualifies you then because it may be required to do that work. The other thing is that it signals the commitment and the recency of your knowledge. So you may have learned a lot in your 20 years so far, but by going back to school and getting your master's degree, you now signal that you are continuing to sharpen your skills and that you have learned what is the latest and greatest and can apply that with your experience. And that is something that employers are looking for as well. They want people who understand and have surveyed broadly outside of what you get as your singular experience as a practitioner. And so that makes you much more competitive.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yep. Other questions? Feel free to raise your hand if you would like to come off mute. Got a little hand raise there. Maybe there's another one in the chat. Looks like we've been doing a great job here. All right. Turn all those. Arun, I'll turn. Arun, do you have one more question you want to ask?
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me the chance. Actually, I've got two questions now, and thank you so much for the first answer. And I got my doubt clear with the first answer. And also I've seen all the slides you're given.
Okay.
And I got two doubts. One is that according to the PMI research and study, they say that by 2027, there has been like it's gonna be a very huge demand for project managers, and there are gonna be some million job openings, and it's gonna like it's in the project management role is like one of the highest demand roles. So how far is that research and stats, right? That is my first question. And second, also in some of my like research I've done when I'm planning to join in project management, some people suggest that pursuing only a project management course is not sufficient, whereas you need to do something specialization like supply chain or logistics. And in addition to that, project management will be helpful, but only doing project management will not be helpful, is what they have told me. So what is your say on that?
I would say that the evidence is in that project management is very different. Well, you saw the first slide. Project management's not
Yes.
general management, right?
Yes.
And so the skills that are needed to do this well are different from general management skills. So operations management, which includes supply chain, logistics, and also includes, process design and quality control and procurement and production scheduling, all that work that goes into operations management. That's good. It's routine. It's different. It has a different set of challenges. And what we do in project management is we build the new complex systems, we deploy new services and new products. That's a totally different body of knowledge and work. It's not something that is covered very much at all in operations management. And the result is that people are looking for those who have, and by people, I mean employers are looking for those who have these skills and who are focused here. Project management is its own profession, and it is also a recognized role in most companies. And so your opportunities are going to be great if you have a degree in project management. People know that you can get work done. And it is my project management skills that personally allowed me to grow and become very successful in my career. That's the reason why I focused on it as well. Neil, did you want to add?
Sure. One of the things about project management is it's in many ways people management. And to elaborate a little bit more on your question, one of the things that I do in class on assignments, and a lot of the professors do that as well, is I have the assignments done by teams. I split up the class into about 4 in a team and make the teams all balanced with background and experience, and they work together and they submit a team assignment perhaps every month, working collectively. And that sort of introduces everybody to working on a team in project management. And one more thing about project management is project management, especially in the construction industry, is set up with a team that builds a project, and the team is assembled to build that project based on their background and experience. And when the project is over, the team disseminates and goes away, and a new team is built up to build the next project. So you've got to be very flexible to be prepared to work with more people. Perhaps there's some overlap and maybe the same people again on the next project, but you're constantly changing. And that's a subtle difference between project management and general management. If you're in general management and you're working in marketing or HR, you may be in general management in that group for 20 years. In project management, you may only be there for the length of the project. So one of the things that you'll get by coming to our program is having the opportunity to work with other students. I'm sure if I asked all of you, if we had another hour to go through everybody in this class today to see your background and experience, it's overwhelming, I'm sure. Yeah. And the idea is to share that experience with your fellow students. So I hope that helps, John.
It does. And I'll say, as a former CTO, I look for project managers and project management degrees when I'm putting my analysts on teams. That's what I did when I was in that role. And there are a lot of project-oriented industries which think that way, like construction management, and there are plenty of businesses which are looking for these skills because they're so powerful. So it is important to learn about the business that you are managing as a project manager. You need to learn that. You have to learn that. But the essential skills and the difference in what employers are looking for is someone who can work on teams, like Neil said. And that's to be able to lead teams through integrating technical disciplines and do a good job there. I see another question here about Masters of Engineering in Project Management, Masters of Engineering Construction Management, and the different courses. And the answer is we have 2 general tracks that we've talked about, but they are not defined in terms of you have to go on one or the other. You can choose to take any 5 electives you want outside of the core. And one last thing, I just wanted to bring up, which is the results of a survey that was done by this is pretty neat. I decided, go ahead, we can bring this up here. Is that we have there was a study done by IBM in terms of the shift in terms of skills that are being looked for. And overwhelmingly, when employers are saying what skills they're looking for, it is the willingness to be flexible, time management, the ability to prioritize, to work effectively in team environments, and to communicate effectively. These are the skills that employers are looking for, much less than they were looking for in terms of core and technical skills. And that was in 2018 before the pandemic. That was in 2018 before we went to remote work. And so this is just becoming more and more the focus, and why we focus so much on giving you those skills in practice on teams and in our curriculum.
Those 4 items that you listed, John, really hit the nail on the head. Were they in any order of precedence, or just listed 1 through 4?
No, this is the order. So in your top 5 skills, only 1 of 5 is technical in terms of what business hiring managers are looking for.
Okay. I like to focus on number 3.
I agree. I find that also tends to keep me in the position a little longer. I think in the world of retention that we exist today, that's true. Look, everyone, it's been fantastic to talk with you today. We would love to follow up with you more, and I'm sure you have more questions. If you do, you can reach out to us. You've got your MAGE team here that's going to be there to answer your questions through your admissions process and your application process. But I just want to thank you all for coming here today. We will surely be sending out the slides and a copy to the recording so that you can watch this again and dive in case there was parts that you missed and you came a little late. But we really hope that you'll want to join us in our programs here. We look forward to having you when you do. So thank you, everybody. And we'll be ending the call.
Thank you so much, John and Neil. It was a very productive session. Thank you so much.